Hey, it's Justin Goff, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can take classic direct response ads. I'm talking about the kind that were run in newspapers and written by guys like Gary Bencivenga, Gary Halbert, and you can take them and use them today. You could literally swipe what was working in 1970, 1980, 1990, swipe it and use it today in things like emails, subject lines, Facebook ads, sales letters, stuff like that. So I got 4 examples here, and we're going to go over each of them, and I'm going to show you kind of examples of what was working 20, 30 years ago and how you can swipe it and use it today. So this first one here is from the great Gary Bencivenga. This headline is kind of what I would call like a little sleepy curiosity headline. Like it's not super hypey or anything. It doesn't really like stand out, but it does pique your curiosity. Do you make these mistakes in job interviews? So when you read that, you kind of immediately want to know what the mistakes are because you're wondering if maybe you're possibly making those mistakes. And so I think it's a pretty good headline, especially this was probably run in a newspaper. It probably fit in pretty well in a newspaper. But the big thing here is the first couple opening lines, and I really want to point those out. Do you know why you should never eat a spinach salad when you're being interviewed over lunch? If you're a man, do you know why you should never wear a gold bracelet to a job interview? If you're a woman, do you know the kind of blouse that makes interviewers of both sexes think you're a loser? So I think this is a great example of just grabbing people's attention right away and really just pounding on that curiosity button inside them and making them want to know more. So like, why should I never eat a spinach salad when I'm being interviewed over lunch? Why should I never wear a gold bracelet to a job interview? Those are the types of things that they just pique your curiosity so much that you have to know the answer, and so you keep reading. The cool thing about this ad, like I said, this ad was from a long time ago, and Gary is actually running a very similar version of this today. So do you make these mistakes in job interviews? And then here's the one he's running today for his olive oil company. Do you make these 3 mistakes when you buy olive oil? So literally the exact same angle, the exact same framework, probably 30, 40 years apart, and it's working like crazy. So I've seen this ad running on email lists, on Facebook ads for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years now. And I know his olive oil business is very successful. So to me, that's a great example of how you can take these classic ads that were working in the past, look at the frameworks, look at the kind of angles and hooks that they use, and then swipe them and use them today. So that's first example. Let's look at another one here. This is a old school ad from Mel Martin. If you've never heard of Mel Martin, he was pretty much the king of bullets. So bullets are these little things here where it says what airlines don't want you to know, what never to eat on an airplane, bills it's okay to pay late. Those are bullets. They're meant to induce curiosity, to keep you reading, and to eventually get you to buy. And Mel was just light years ahead of every other copywriter when it came to bullets. And so some of the ones here I really wanted to point out. So his famous one was what never to eat on an airplane. That thing ran for like years and years on envelopes and on in newspaper ads. It was like just crushed. The second one, bills it's okay to pay late. That same thing just really piques your curiosity because you're like, kind of curious. Like what? I work every month to try to pay all these bills on time, but apparently there's ones I can pay late. Best numbers in any lottery. I mean, that I love that one. That one's great because it just tickles your imagination that, oh, I could have this inside edge of knowing what numbers actually have more of a chance of getting selected in a lottery. So like I said, Mel was really good at bullets. And if you go through some of his copy, you can see there's one down here, how to know when a slot machine is ready to pay off, how to get a refund on a non-refundable airline ticket. Just really good, really good bullets. The cool thing with bullets is like you could use them as bullets in your copy. So whether you're doing emails or an ad or a long form sales page, you can use bullets in there. The one thing that's really cool about this, and I want to show you an example, is bullets are really similar to subject lines on emails. So a lot of the stuff that works really well for a bullet and copy will work for a subject line. So I pointed out some of the famous ones that Mel had started with what and why. Those were like some of his most famous bullets. And I thought this was a great example of kind of a modern day one that Joel Marion wrote for his, whatever, I think he's giving away some free report. What bananas do to your body. So that's the subject line on the email. Like I said, that's really straight out of the Mel Martin playbook. I mean, it's literally the exact same kind of framework and curiosity inducing copy that Mel Martin was really famous for. So to me, that's a great example of taking, like I said, what worked back in these classic direct response ads and then applying it to direct response today. All right, we're going to look at another one. This one is from Gary Halbert, How to Get What the U.S. Government Owes You. The thing I really want to focus on this is the opening, like, 2 paragraphs. So it says, Dear taxpayer, what do you get? The poor get federal housing, food stamps, and other welfare benefits. The rich get oil depletion allowances, low interest rate loans, and expense accounts. What do you get? The answer to that one is easy. You get to pay taxes. Isn't that nice? It's a bit depressing, isn't it? To work so hard for your money and then each year give Uncle Sam a bigger and bigger share of it. What can you do about it? Blah, 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 blah. So I think that's a great example of what I would call a frustration opener, where you're just really bonding with the person reading it on all the little things that they're angry about and frustrated about and problems they got going on and things that they're kind of thinking about and bitching about throughout their day. That's really what that is. He's just bonding and relating to all the stuff that's kind of going on in their head. Here is a modern example of this. This was written by Paris Lampropoulos, and this is to women. So literally just straight out calling out women in the headline as being super mom, super wife, and super career woman taking its toll on you. That's a really good headline. But the opening is this great kind of bonding thing as well. So he says, you've done it all, juggled the demands of your career while being a loving wife and mother, been the family nurse, bookkeeper, chef, and social activities director, lost the same 10 pounds 10 times, and stayed awake countless nights worrying about everyone around you. Sometimes you feel like all the cooking, cleaning, working, and family time are sucking you dry. Sometimes you wake up so drained and exhausted that you can barely get yourself out of bed. With all these demands on your time and energy, how are you supposed to find time to care for your health? Well, I have some good news for you. Staying healthy and full of energy is a lot easier than you think, blah, 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 blah. So, like I said, a great example of what I would call this frustration opener, where you're literally peering into their life and you know all the things that, like I said, are just kind of swirling around in their head, things that they're frustrated about, things that they have problems with. You're basically like the person who who is like their shadow and just knows kind of everything going on in their life. So that was a great example. The first one with Gary Halbert doing that here, and then Paris did it, I think, probably even better in this example. But like I said, again, a great example of how to take what was working in classic direct response stuff and then use it in current direct response stuff. So we're going to look at one more example here. This is from Joe Carbo. He sold a lot of make money and how to start a business type stuff. This to me is one of my favorite headlines, literally probably ever, because it just really gets the heart of exactly what someone who's making 30, 40, 50 grand, who's working their ass off and in a job that they don't like. This headline just nails it. It's too busy earning a living to make any money. Most people when they read that, their initial thought is, yeah, hell yeah, that's what's going on. So that's the big thing I wanted to point out in this ad. Like I think it's a great ad. It's really a classic make money ad where a lot of it's talking about basically how he's working only a couple hours a day. Some days he goes out on his boat. Some days he drives around in his Rolls Royce by the beach. Pretty classic, like I said, a make money ad. And then here is a version of that today. Let's look at the copy on this. Whether you like your job or not, you'd like to make some passive residual income on the side, right? Who wouldn't? Especially if you don't have to waste 8 months building an e-com store or dump 200 grand into real estate. So let me ask you this. How many small businesses are there in your town? Dozens, hundreds? Well, imagine if each of those businesses funneled $299 straight into your bank account every single month. Not for driving into an office, breaking your back to make someone else rich, or trading your valuable time for pennies, but for doing almost nothing at all. Impossible, right? So that kind of opening there, very, very, very similar to the Joe Carbo ad. Really just tapping into the not having to do a whole lot of work, being able to work for yourself, not being under the stress of a boss or having to do any of the pain in the ass stuff that goes along with having a job, being at an office, making somebody else rich, trading your time for pennies. That is all the exact same kind of stuff that was going on in this ad, and it's just literally translated for more modern day stuff where they're talking about e-com, and basically I think it's some type of like teaching you how to do lead generation for local businesses. But yeah, great example of, like I said, you can just take these classic direct response ads, because the appeals and the benefits and the problems, they really don't change. I mean, the same stuff that worked in 1980 and 1990 still works today in 2023. Some of the language is a little different, but other than that, like I said, it's the exact same appeals, and you can just reshuffle and reuse a lot of the best stuff. And that's one of the smart things about a lot of these ads from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s were written by the greatest copywriters ever, the Gary Halberts, the Gary Bencivengas, the Eugene Schwartzes. So you're getting to basically learn from, it'd be like learning basketball from Michael Jordan. So that's why I'm such a huge fan of studying the old school ads. And if you are interested in getting a bunch of these ads, so actually a lot of these, all four of these ads that I just showed you, the Gary Bencivenga one, the Mel Martin one, the Gary Halbert one, the Joe Carbo one, those are actually all part of a swipe file from Copy Legends. My friend Matt runs this site. Really, 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 honestly, an amazing swipe file. There's literally, I just showed you four of those ads. There are 1,749 of them in the swipe file. Everybody from Bencivenga to Halbert to Schwartz to Joe Sugarman, Dan Kennedy, Jim Rutz, Bill Jamie, Clayton Makepeace, all of them are in there. There's ads, there's long form sales letters. So like, yeah, right here, there's 56 from Gary Halbert, 14 from Gary Bencivenga, 170 from Eugene Schwartz. I've been going through the Schwartz ones for the last couple of days. Those are great. Joe Sugarman, Mel Martin, Ted Nicholas, really smart direct mail guy, Clayton Makepeace, and then like literally all these other people. So Dan Kennedy, Bill Jamie, Jim Rutz, Ogilvy, Caples, Hopkins, pretty much every damn good copywriter there was back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The cool thing is this is actually on sale right now. So if you're interested in picking it up, I'm going to pop the link down below in the info box, but normally this sells on Matt's website for $497. And if you want to pick up a copy now, basically if you pick it up before March 14th at midnight Central Time, you can get it for $297 instead of $497. So save $200. I personally bought this myself, and I've been going through it, and I honestly use it probably every week to come up with new kind of hooks and angles and ideas for my emails and my subject lines and all kinds of stuff like that. So highly, highly valuable resource. And you'll find, like I said, pretty much every top level copywriter and marketer has a really good swipe file like this, because they know how valuable it is to study the legends. And you can, like I said, you can literally just pull out big ideas, headlines, mechanisms, You can see what the appeals are that they're using, the benefits that they're using, the problems they're targeting. It really is kind of like a cheat sheet for knowing exactly how to write copy. And you can swipe, like I said, you swipe all the old school stuff and use it again today. So if you want to pick that up, like I said, you can save $200 if you pick it up before March 14th. So I will pop the link down below. Hope this video was helpful for you, and good luck with swiping some old school ads to make you money today.